Well, match number 8 of IPL 2023. In all the years that the tournament has been played, we'll see cricket go as far east as the Borshapara Stadium in Guwahati, which will host its first ever Indian Premier League game, an adopted home for 2 games for the Rajasthan Royals, who are pre-tournament favourites for many, who've started well with the 72-run win against the Sunrisers, and they come up against a Punjab Kings side that also at the back of a win against KKR. Should be a good one. We've got 2 teams that have started well, and I've got 2 gentlemen that have started so well in this tournament as well. Tom Moody's been in fine form, and he now has the privilege of Sanjay Manjrekar's company, as do I. Sanjay, good evening. How nice of you to be back in an ESPN Cricinfo live studio environment after so long.
Yes, but back in my comfort zone, being with Cricinfo and in your company, although it's not the most rewarding experience being in your company, just the comfort zone of being with familiar faces. Tom is an old friend. We played cricket together, and I regard him very highly with his thoughts. So yes, very happy to be in this environment.
Yeah, you know what familiarity breeds, Tom, don't you?
Yeah, well, we can't afford that, though. So let's just keep each other on our toes.
Yeah.
So don't be complacent.
Umpire Moody is ready to officiate, adjudicate, and we have a game to look forward to. It is an exciting one because I did say they are pre-tournament favourites, and Tom, they are one of your pre-tournament favourites. Sanjay, I don't know where Rajasthan rank, right up there, I'm sure, top 4 prediction for you too.
For me,
Yeah. So this is a nice little challenge for them because they're up against another team that have a bit of swagger about them in spite of some big names missing, Tom.
Yeah, well, as you say, Punjab have had a good start, even though that it was that rain-affected game. But I think they had it in hand all the way. Look, Rajasthan, to me, are just so well-balanced. Regardless where they're playing, they've got a side that can evolve in any conditions against any opponent. And again, it's nearly like the script was, didn't need to be rewritten. We knew what we were going to get with Rajasthan. We were going to get Butler out of the blocks quickly and a quick half-century, and we got to see Sanjay Samson also firing, and the 2 spinners and Ashwin and Chahal doing their things, and surprise, surprise, Trent Bolt taking a couple of wickets in the first over. So that's the formula, and to add to that formula, just to put the cherry on the cake, they've got a guy called Jason Holder.
Tom made the point last evening about the Gujarat Titans, Sanjay, that it seems like last season was just a few weeks back. And Rajasthan, I think, couldn't easily fall into that category. Everything that worked for them last year seems to just have carried on.
Yes, and Samson, growing in maturity every season. I mean, last match, when he was playing almost like an anchor role because Butler got out, Jaiswal got out, and he felt obliged to be there and, bat steadily. He got out in the 19th over, came in quite late as well, and got out in the 19th over at a strike rate of 170 while he was playing in 3rd gear. So everything is as per script. The only little thing that I would say they would want to cover up is something I asked Sanjay Samson as well after the match, whether there is any box that's not ticked, and he said no comments. But maybe death bowling at some stage is something they would want to look at. Apart from that, spin, quality and spin, experience there as well, batting looks scary.
They are bowling first, and maybe for the sake of the Royals, even early on, it wouldn't be a bad thing for a team to actually put them under pressure. They've been relying on Bolt's wickets up front and the spinners then doing their job in the middle. But do they really have the death bowling? Have they actually addressed that? They're missing Prasidh Krishna this year, and there's not quite a like for that.
No, there's not. I'd imagine Trent Bolt's going to be playing at least part of that role with an over, if not 2. It depends exactly how he performs in the power play, whether he bowls 2. If he's on fire, you're going to let him have that 3rd just to break the back of your opposition. I think Jason Holder will be used in that role as well, but they don't have any real obvious standout people to step into that role. So that is a little chink in their armour. And this is still early days. This is very early days for every team, whether they've won their first game or lost their first or second game. I mentioned yesterday about Delhi Capitals. They lost their first 2 games. They could win the next 5.
K. Asif, that's why I believe is a key player for Rajasthan Royals. I don't think Sandeep Sharma is your replacement for somebody like Prasidh Krishna. But Asif bowled 3 overs for 15 in the last game, and if he can somehow contribute and take some of the load in the death, then it's a team that seems flawless with no weakness.
All right. Yeah, and Asif was given the nod ahead of Navdeep Saini, who was used as the impact sub. He didn't need to be used given the start that Trent Bolt gave them, and they were well ahead in the game against Sunrisers. Things have changed a little bit. They'll be bowling first today after Sanju Samson has won the toss. So we'll see Punjab batting first again. We're told it's an unchanged 11, but we did see an 11 last time where Rajasthan would have obviously wanted Saini on the impact subs bench to bring him in. We'll wait to see exactly what the feel and look of that team is. But they will be bowling first, so it's a trend that we are seeing continuing in spite of quite a few teams winning batting first on the opening weekend. Chasing is still the way to go if you win tosses.
Yeah, I don't think it's just so much about a trend. I think it's about venues as well. I think this venue, from what I understand, is a high-scoring venue. The internationals that have been played there, there have been plenty of runs that have been scored. I got a glimpse of the pitch report, and the surface there looked very, very inviting if you're a batsman. But and the boundaries, square of the wicket, a very short square of the wicket. So if the likes of Hetmeyer get in, look out, you could be hitting a few sixes.
Not Butler.
Yeah,
Well, Butler will definitely be hitting.
This is a lingering debate.
Butler will hit a few sixes, no doubt, but I think Hetmeyer just might hit one or two more.
Yeah, Tom has made that statement that Hetmeyer will hit more sixes today than
Where did he make
Josh Butler.
Where did he make such a statement?
on our platform.
On our platform.
Oh, right, on our platform. Okay. And what prompted you to say that, Tom?
Well,
His high batting position? Yeah.
no, I just feel that he's a form player. He is a six hitter, and he does hit well square of the wicket. So look out.
Very well. Well, we did see Rajasthan curiously just hold Hetmeyer back for the sake of Tom Moody. They'd like to send him up a bit higher, but for that to also
Maybe
happen,
that's the intention.
yes, Punjab need to first get enough runs for there to be enough wickets for Hetmeyer to then strike enough sixes for Tom Moody to get this right. Punjab Kings, though, exceeded expectations in that last game. We thought without Livingston, without Bairstow, without Rabada in the first game, that's pretty much your back of your overseas side. But you still feel optimistic with the way they started?
See, that win was against Kolkata Knight Riders, and it's not looking good. KKR is the team that is currently, until we see some kind of change, a team that most teams in the IPL will look to get points against. Prabh Simran Singh is a guy who's got to fire because the batting looks a little iffy. No, Bairstow is a big setback to add to that. Liam Livingston missing. Bhanukar Rajapaksha might fill the void a little bit. I think he's a dangerous player, got himself going in the last game, got a few runs. I think 40 of 29.
50, yeah.
So he looked pretty good there. Bowling is intact. I think they've got spinners that are good who will continue to put in the performances. If at all there is a chink, it's the batting.
All right, well, they are batting first. Let's just confirm the Punjab side for you with their impact subs. And we are expecting Prabh Simran Singh and Shikhar Dhawan to have challenge number 1, which is see out Trent Bolt. They will be batting first. And you do have Bhanukar Rajapaksha in form. Jitesh Sharma walked in at 4 in the last game, given the top 3 got runs. We'll see if that order can change a little bit. And I'm curious to see that Kagiso Rabada has not joined the team straight away. We did see the South Africans return last night. Andrik Nokke and David Miller both featured for their sides and showed no signs of jet lag. Looks like Kagiso Rabada has not made
very
his
impressive
place.
in the last game. There was some spunk there with the batting and the Sunil Narayan kind of bowling.
Sure.
Can be useful, a couple of overs.
Yeah, but Nathan Ellis would have been the slot, but it looks like Rabada hasn't made it there in time.
Yeah, I think Rabada's there, but I just question whether they feel at this venue they need more of a defensive bowler in Ellis against Rabada, who is more of an impact type bowler. Now, Nathan Ellis has developed his career and reputation around his ability to bowl Yorkers, slower balls. He's not your power play, swing it and knock over the top order. He's more your defensive. So maybe, I'm just giving you an alternative thought, that they're thinking that he's going to help their ability to shut the game down, particularly in those back 10 overs when it can go crazy.
Yeah, this is awesome.
It is a big call, but I'm just throwing it into the mix for discussion.
This is what Tom does, which is so much fun. Now we can both sit back and ask Tom Moody why a management contemplates, if you have Rabada available, that no, Ellis is still my better defensive bowler, given it should be a no-brainer for all of us sitting out there. Rabada, no matter what your combination, must play every game.
Yeah, well, you've got to take into consideration Rabada's just come off playing a series in South Africa. He's then jumped on a plane. He's a big, strong, fast bowler. It does take a little bit of time. He may have carried a little bit of a niggle into the end of their series. So all these things we don't understand. The physio may have reported to the coach this morning and said, look, he's fine to play, but there's a little bit of stiffness in his right hamstring. I'm making the assumption that might be a scenario. Look, if it's a final, play him, but I think it might be sensible just to give him a couple more days, and we'll give him some time in the gym and recovery, and he'll be set for the tournament.
Your thoughts?
Sam Curran was expensive in the last game. It's not like he's going to be, again, a bit of a liability, but if Rabada is fit, he plays. And we had a couple of South Africans taking night flights and playing the next day and do it. David Miller, Andrik Nokke. So I'm thinking maybe another reason may not be because Nathan Ellis, although you're right, Nathan Ellis was there with the Australian team in India. Nice kind of skiddy bowler, did well in the last game as well. So he's a nice option to have. But if Rabada was fit and raring to go, then that would be the choice. But yes, maybe a niggle that's got them to keep him,
not a lot of direct flights to Guwahati also.
No.
They would have flown to Delhi last night, which was convenient. And you know how travel is. You travel so much.
So Delhi-Guwahati flight
but he's not a
would
fast
have been
bowler.
the reason Rabada isn't playing.
He's not a fast bowler at all.
At all wasn't necessary.
Okay, you heard it here. All the possible scenarios as to why you would have picked Ellis over Rabada if Rabada was available. But yes, the South Africans have just finished their home series against the Netherlands. We did see Nokke and David Miller in action last night. It won't be long before we see Rabada. Ellis had a good game last time round, but that's pretty much the team. Let's have a look at the Rajasthan side. This is now the first time we'll see their 11 named after they are bowling first. And in that side, there are no real surprises. It's the exact same 11. In fact, Navdeep Saini, who was an impact sub, would have gone out, and they've added more batting options on that list. You would think it'll have to be one of Akash Vashisht or Dhruv Jurel who will have to be brought in as an impact sub, given they would need a batter in the second half, unless there's something out of the box they're thinking that we don't know yet. But that's interesting. Because you saw Navdeep Saini as an option.
Also in the squad, who has the T20 game.
Not named amongst the subs though. So you would.
He's not there in the.
Not in the subs. Yeah. So we are obviously short of batters there. So perhaps this is where you're almost seeing teams thinking, we're not worried about the impact sub. Team first 11 is good enough.
Well, it's a pretty good first 11, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think they may be in a position where they're comfortable with their 11, and if need be, will make an adjustment. But I think that a lot of their I know that a lot of their top order are very much in form, and they're backing him on a very good batting surface.
Tom, if you were sitting at the auction table and at the time aware of the impact substitute rule, you would have maybe made your squad a little differently, because very often the auctions happen when this rule wasn't going to be there, so they weren't aware of this. So generally, I'm thinking you go for your 12, 13, key players, and then you have 3, 4 as an afterthought. Sure. But now I think there'll be serious, thought application to the guys that have in the squad and can be subbed.
Well, what I will tell you, and again, this is no guarantee, but this is how I read it. If that was understood before the auction, there's no way we would have seen the prices of the international all-rounders. Purely because the impact sub has covered that sort of all-round issue for most teams. And I'm not saying and underestimating the value of the likes of Curran and Green and Stokes and Holder. I haven't missed anyone, have I? But Holder didn't quite get the prices of the first 3.
Yes.
But to me, I would have been investing my funds elsewhere to adjust to that impact sub, because I know that I've got that covered.
So in fairness, from what we know is that the franchises were kept in confidence that the impact sub will come in, but of course the playing conditions hadn't been confirmed, so it's a bit of it's neither here nor there. They would have known that the impact sub will play, or will be in play. It was used in the Syed Mushtaq Ali, but the conditions, how they'd be used, and therefore we are seeing a slightly, you could say, conservative use of the impact sub. No wild changes or no mainstream player from your ideal 11 being dropped. So I guess it's somewhere in the middle. Whether this affects future auctions is anybody's guess. But you could see a team like Sunrisers who clearly didn't go for those 3 and went for a specialist like Harry Brook. You could see almost they were looking at the impact sub playing a part.
Yeah, possibly. And they had, to me, they have got a very obvious scenario where they've got Samad and Umran Malik. They're your perfect scenario. A guy that bowls 150 and a guy that hits at 150.
Samad came in the last game as impact
so they are the perfect, match for that impact
I think
sub
the
rule.
exceptional all-rounders will still, fetch a prize.
Of course they will.
Yeah.
Of course they will.
But the ones that, for example, Rashid Dhawan had, he was the impact sub in the last game. Whether he'll continue to be an exciting option in the future.
I think that's a nice chat because the long-term prospects of all-rounders, whether the impact sub will almost see
that
all-rounders
was the discussion
go up.
in the podcast, and one thought was that is it going to take out those kind of all-rounders from the IPL or T20 cricket, and you'll go more for specialists. But I don't mind that if you're going to see better skills on the field, whether it's from different people. All you want is better skills, and Ben Stokes, Cameron Green, and these guys can show good skills with both disciplines.
From the evidence of what you've seen, I know it's only 5-6 games so far. Are you excited by this? It's not like there's been a huge impact by the impact play itself, but we have to look at, I guess, the dynamics of the teams itself when they set out. Do you think it's something you'd like to see at the international level too then?
See, in the first 6 overs, we are seeing some big scores. Now, whether that is happening because the batting team that's batting first thinks, they've got one extra batter in and playing with a little more liberty. You had Akshar Patel batting at number 8 with the kind of season that he had. So every team will have batting depth now if they're batting first. So I see this as I'm one for excellence. I don't want to see average cricket. I was an average cricketer. I don't want to see myself on the field.
Please.
But you are
trying to win people over with my modesty, but it's a futile
But you show
I
excellence in your post-cricket career.
Look at him. He's jumped at the opportunity to...
He didn't have to agree with you, did he?
Yeah, but I want to see exceptional skills on the field, and if there's an exceptional left-arm spinner, and not a left-arm spinner who's just playing because he bats as well, or a leg spinner. Let's have the lesser leg spinner.
Careful with that example.
Yeah. I'll use a right-arm leg spinner because he bats a bit. Careful with the word as well, bit. Yeah. Okay, I'm done.
He's done with his bit. Now, for a piece of your mind.
I'm not convinced with it yet, personally. Okay. I like the introduction of naming your squad 11 after the toss. I like that introduction. I'm not convinced yet with the impact sub quite yet.
Yeah. So what
certainly concerns me for Indian cricket because of what it potentially could do to the development of all-rounders.
It's early days, but what I'm excited to see is if we put this at the international level, the quality is bound to be higher. Where you tend to look at an Indian 11 and you think maybe you can't fit Shreyas Iyer and Surya Kumar Yadav in the same team, or you look like an England 11 and you might have Reece Topley sitting on the bench who's a damn good bowler, or somebody else, and suddenly all of them are impact subs. Suddenly you're not looking at impact subs which, due respect to Indian domestic players, you don't think any of them should come and change the game, but at the international level that could happen. There's an Australian team right now where you can't possibly fit Stoinis, Green, Marsh all in the same 11.
Well, I'm very conscious of being conservative and old-fashioned with my thinking, and this could well be ahead of its game, this thinking, and in 3 years' time everyone's doing it and we're looking back on it thinking what such a good introduction to our game and how the white ball game is so much better for it.
And look, all the great all-rounders of the past and even a recent past, they became great all-rounders not to begin with. They were specialists, excellent batters or bowlers, and the other discipline actually developed with their growth in confidence. Ian Botham in his first test match, I think, batted in number 8. And then became this superb batter. Richard Hadley 8-9, Kapil Dev 8-9. That's how you want the all-rounders to become. If you go looking for an all-rounder, you'll always find all-rounders.
Can you stop with the pot shots, Tom Moody? You've been going on in it for about 15,
Tom Moody was
minutes.
a batter. He was a proper batter who would walk into the
very cheap shots over here, isn't it? Very cheap. He's using a plastic bat, not a willow. Very cheap
making
shots.
A horrid sound as well. So
squeaky.
my point was completed.
My bad. Please, if you'd like to carry on.
No, so what I'm saying is they become all-rounders.
And is it fair to say the quality all-rounders will still not be in danger?
Absolutely. No one's going to leave Ben Stokes out. And Ben Stokes wasn't supposed to bowl in the first half of the IPL. He bowled in the last game. Mitchell Marsh, I mean, he can be an all-rounder, but you have him in the team for one discipline. So those are the kind of all-rounders that are actually all-rounders. Otherwise, then you have just players, that give you illusory sort of value where you feel, wow, I've got somebody who can also bat at number 8.
Yeah.
But these are the guys who let you down when the pressure is on.
Sure.
These are the first ones that will, collapse under the pressure. Specialists, always.
All right. We've got such specialists with us in the studio today, and this was a fascinating chat. We'll see where it goes. For now, not a lot of surprises from the 15 that we've seen either from Rajasthan or Punjab, or 16 rather, that we've seen from either side. Now, let's go back to the state of the game, and we look for exciting matchups. And yes, we are looking at Bolt versus the openers, or Butler versus Ellis, Arshdeep when Rajasthan bat. But Matt Roller tends to dig in on more specific matchups, challenges for teams. And he's found something about Punjab and their history with leg spin. Let's see what he's got.
Punjab Kings were the second fastest scoring team in IPL 2022, but they struggled badly against leg spin. Other teams lost wickets more regularly against leg spin than they did, but no other team failed to score at least 7 and over against leg spinners. They were tested by 2 mystery spinners in Varun Chakravarti and Sunil Narine in their opening game against KKR, but tonight's game in Guwahati is the first time they'll face an orthodox leg spinner in last year's purple cap winner Yuzi Chahal. The big difference in Punjab's squad this year is the addition of Sam Curran, who has been used as a floater to take down spin in the middle overs by various teams around the world. Punjab in their opening game batted him at number 6 and he came in the 15th over, but we could see his entry point vary across the season. But can Curran alone put an end to their problems against leg spin, or do they need the top order to take more responsibility through the middle overs?
Okay, how much value do you give a team's historical data against a type of bowler when you do have some batters who have been with that team for a while?
You take a bit of notice of it, but there's a number of different people that are in that Punjab side now than where all that data has been collected. Agarwal, KL Rahul, not there, Mandeep Singh, not there. There's many. But to me, the point around Curran's a good point, and he is a good player of the ball coming into him. Rajapaksa's another one. Yeah. It's a very good player against spin. I've seen him take his own countryman Hasaranga down and done that in style a couple of times. So they've got a couple of good options there against leg spin bowling. So it's going to be intriguing to see how they stack up against Chahal tonight.
They're up against Yuzvendra Chahal, who started well with wickets, and you think it's an important season for Chahal, who's not quite the short number 1 leggy in either white ball format for India this year.
Yeah, should have played the T20 World Cup. And why did Ashwin play? Because they thought they needed some batting support down the order. That's
which
the only
takes us back to
the impact substitute. And Chahal is obviously the better T20 bowler in the sense that he will change the tide of
the bigger grounds in Australia too.
Yeah. So it was amazing. And when he bowls in the IPL, you can see the kind of confidence that he has, and his ability is a bit too good for IPL. So this is a guy who will always be ready. Maybe not so much 50 overs cricket now, T20 surely. So I have a lot of respect for Chahal. And again, like last season, he's just taken off. Look at the first game, he got 4 wickets, isn't it? 4 wickets.
Yes, 4.
The purple cap holder. So it's almost like nothing's happened in between.
And you've got Bhanuka Rajapaksha, who also is, again, perhaps if you want to look at the advertisement of the highest standard of the game, this is perfect. Rajapaksha is a terrific batter, and he would be the first to admit he wouldn't mind not fielding and get a better fielder on, or being swapped for a bowler. So as far as viewing goes, you'd want that, you'd welcome that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, look, I know where you're going with it, but, to me, I'm still a traditionalist at the moment. I'm yet to be 100% convinced.
Very well.
I don't like the idea of someone sort of saying that I'd prefer not to field. To me, that's part of your responsibility, is to be a complete player. You don't have to be a 3-dimensional player, but you do have to be a 2-dimensional player.
We use that term very carefully.
Please. Interesting call by Delhi Capitals. They had a choice between Sarfaraz Khan and Prithvi Shaw as to who should be benched and not come on the field to field. So they went with...
he had batted longer. He was slightly more tired. Right. Openers are out there for Punjab. Let's have a quick chat, though, on whether there's a lot of conversation when a young Indian batter like Prabh Simran Singh walks out and Trent Bolt bowls the way he does, and how much Prabh Simran would have faced off Trent Bolt. Is there a word you could have with him? And maybe, Sanjay, you can get into perhaps how he sets up against a Trent Bolt to avoid being castled with what we know Trent Boult can do? Tom?
Well, I'd be just telling him to play straight early. You know, play as straight as you can early. You know, Bolt's going to either look to hit you in the front pad or try to bowl you through the gate. So, you know, look to be hitting as straight as you possibly can early on. And it's really the first 6 balls. You know, the white kookaburra ball generally doesn't swing beyond the second or third over.
Sanjay?
You know, against Sunrisers Hyderabad, the way the opener started off against Trent Boult, I mean, Rahul Tripathi stepping forward and trying to then glide the ball.
That was historic. He reviewed a catch to slip. That was the first I saw.
And Abhishek Sharma as well. So, even with certain bowlers, you've got to say, you know, okay, Trent Boult, we'll play him like you would play 50 overs cricket, not Test cricket, leave balls outside off. But due respect has to be given because Sunrisers lost their way very early when Boult got those 2 wickets and after that struggled to get back.
I mean, I had the luxury of actually watching that first ball to see if Prabh Simran just, you know, lets the ball come onto the bat or goes that way. He's tried to whack it past the offside. He's not got any of it, but we'll see how things go. Right, fascinating chat with Tom Moody and Sanjay Manjrekar, and if we do see the game go to that level, then well, this is the first that we discussed of it. So as always, we hear it here first. Now let's hear the predictions here first as well. Tom Moody's been very good with these, Sanjay, so I'll allow him to go first so you can copy something from his exam paper. Yeah. Tom, first innings score.
The first innings score for me is 187.
Well, that's almost conservative looking at this ground. I mean, there was nearly 690 runs scored in the last ODI played.
Yeah, I'm just taking into consideration
the debate. You asked him.
You asked me a question and you're questioning my answer.
Very well. What is that number again?
187. Thank you anyway, Sanjay.
Sanjay.
I'll go with something in the 160s, 170s.
Okay. Nobody asks me, but I still give my score as well. You know, otherwise,
yeah, you can give it. Nobody's listening.
215.
There you go.
Yeah, he was 50 wrong last night as well. 50 off.
The thing is, if I get it wrong, you guys look better. And that is the sole purpose of my job over here. I've been trying that with Sanjay Manjrekar for 10 years. Thank you very much, Tom Moody. We will pick up the conversation with Tom and Sanjay at the end of the Punjab innings. Look forward to your company then on ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout. Make sure you download the ESPN Cricket for mobile app. If you haven't already, head to the App Store or Play Store and you'll get the fastest live scores, news and videos you can trust in all our live coverage around this game and every other of the IPL. We'll see you at the end of the innings.